Oh man, that quality is terrible. Gotta love the old MSI katana, huh? We're just gonna plow right in, okay? Whenever Jesus is resurrected, let's explore what that means, right? Let's explore what Scripture shares with us. I'm going to assume that all of you watching are not Christian and think that it's the dumbest thing you could be in today's world. In the Bible, Jesus gets resurrected from the dead, right? Now, first of all, let's talk about the Shroud of Turin. Growing up, I heard about the Shroud of Turin in like 10th grade in world history class, and I was like, that's so dumb. Whenever I go eat a pepperoni pizza and I lift the lid, I don't see an imprint of the pizza on the roof. I see some grease stains, yeah, but the fact that Jesus's face and hands are imprinted upon the Shroud of Turin makes it look like a forgery at first glance. It makes it look like someone tried too hard. I'm sorry, you could try all day. If I got a bunch of oil on my face and I dab it with a rag, it's just going to make a smear. It's hardly going to look that much like a facial imprint. That's the whole point, though. That's what you might have missed. The things that are on the Shroud of Turin are not grease stains. It's sun bleaching. That's why it's so striking, right? You go and you leave a Dr. Pepper can or a Coke can in the sun, and it turns much, much brighter, right? Okay, it's not stains. It's the opposite. The cloth has been lightened, which implies some sort of UV exposure. Okay, so let's move on. I know that a lot of people have a lot to say about the Shroud of Turin. I just want you to realize that the argument is that there was a nuclear explosion or something, some sort of fission reaction that happened inside of that shroud. And whatever the light was that left the burn, like you've seen the video of the guy who's having radiation blasted to leave a shadow against the wall. Now, that's actually taken with a special type of camera or was a special type of paint. He wasn't actually exposed to any harmful radiation, but you know what I'm talking about. It was a radiation mark. Okay, that's what happened inside of the Shroud of Turin. You understand? A shadow was left behind. A light stain was left behind. It's neither here nor there. Who knows if that's what's really happened? But that's how we'll begin this story. The idea is this man Jesus, whose name was Emmanuel, by the way. He wasn't known as Jesus when he was here. I don't really know. Again, neither here nor there. But this feller Jesus said, y'all, I'm gonna die and I'm gonna be resurrected. And his people were like, yo, you don't gotta die. You're the Son of God. Just fight them all off. Let's kumbaya together. And he was like, no, this book has made it very clear that I am to die. But I assure you that after 3 days, I will raise it back up. I will raise this temple back up. Now you may hear a lot of criticism, especially from people of a certain religion, that'll say, how? Where, if Jesus is God, then where did God go during those 3 days that he was dead? The universe should have ceased to exist, right? Well, let's think about that verse again. Jesus said, my body's going to die, but after 3 days, I will raise it back up. So where was Jesus during that period? Where was he? Now, you might be really materialistic and you just can't seem to understand that we really do live in a simulation. I mean, it's just a fact. So that's what we're here to talk about. I'll quit being so like pokey and gloaty. Look, I'm going to get heavy in this video. This stuff might go over most of your heads, and I don't know. Do you know what a Mobius strip is? Pause this video, go find out about a Mobius strip, right? A topological knot is a self-contained universe. By going in a straight line on a Mobius strip, I will end up right back where I started, but I will perceive that I'm still going forward in a straight line. So the Planck constant, the Planck constant is to our reality and the speed of light as a Mobius strip is to the general function of a simulation. To be nested in the center of a Mobius strip will force you into a simulation. Okay, so here's what I want you to understand if you're able to understand it. If I take a Mobius strip and I cut it in half, I will get a Mobius strip stuck around another Mobius strip like a chain length. If I cut 1/3 away from the edge of one of these of a Mobius strip, instead of getting 3 Mobius strips linked together, I will get one Mobius strip that is twice as long as a secondary one that is looped around it. Okay. Wait, I'm wrong. I'm wrong about something here. Yeah, that's right. I think when you cut a Mobius strip in half, it doesn't cut it into 2. It just makes a Mobius strip that's twice as long, right? That's absurd. It's crazy. It's because of the torsion. You know what a toroid is. You've heard about a toroid. You know how important it is. A toroid is the manifestation of torsion. When you take, okay, if I take a circle and make it 3-dimensional, I've hyperized it into a higher dimension. If I take a cube or a square and make it 3-dimensional, I've hyperized it into a higher dimension. Okay, if I, let's just keep rolling with it. I don't know if you follow me or not, but I'll assume that you understand what a Mobius strip is, and I'll assume that you understand everything that I just said. By cutting 1/3 of the way from the edge of a Mobius strip, what you are creating is a Mobius strip with another one linked around it that is able to travel around that first chain as a function of time. Rather, time is a function of space. Are you following me? Right. It's very simple. Dividing reality by pi is what makes time happen. I guarantee you this. I mean, seriously, I bet you $20. I won't guarantee, but I'll bet you $20 that we're going to find out that it's not actually 1/3 of the way from the edge of the Mobius strip. There must be some artifacts there with the remainder of pi. I know I'm not making any sense, so let's carry on. What is a dimension? Okay, a dimension is a universe, if you will, a field of existence where two things can exist in the same place at the same time. Notice what I just said there. Okay, so here's a dimension. Both of my fingertips exist in the exact same place at the exact same time for you. This is a dimension. Okay, this is a dimension. This is a dimension. There are 3 spatial dimensions. Okay, so where else can I have my let's the tip of this Tabasco bottle? Where else can I place this along this dimension that it can exist in the exact same place? Literally anywhere. Where else to the left or right can I place this Tabasco cap that it can exist in the same place at the same time? Literally anywhere. Where else can I place this Tabasco cap along this plane where it can exist at the same place at the same time? Literally anywhere. Okay, so let me ask you another question. How can I let this Tabasco bottle and this thing of oregano, tarragon, exist in the same place? Well, they have, see, so I travel through this dimension, I travel through this dimension, I travel through this dimension, and then I travel through this dimension. Time. By moving through X, by moving through Y, and by moving through Z, by moving through X, by moving through Y, and by moving through Z, we are able to have different things existing in the same place, or the same thing existing in the same place. Time is a function of space. By traveling through time, yada, yada, yada. So, light speed is the maximum velocity at which something can travel through space. Have you ever noticed how funny light behaves? There's light rays coming in through your window and you can almost reach out and grab them. Like if there's a stream of water and I put my hand here, the water will splash everywhere because it's right, but I can block a light ray with my hand. Light does not travel through time because it is spending all of its inertia traveling through space. You following me? Now, what's the opposite of that? What's the opposite of something that travels light speed through time and therefore does not travel through space? Interesting, right? Now, I have a hunch that that's the spirit realm, but that's a little above this video's pay grade. We'll get there. Whenever, I'll assume that you're smart and you've read some of Brian Greene's work, you know, The Fabric of the Cosmos and stuff, and you're familiar with the term brane, B-R-A-N-E. It's like a window pane is a segment of time, right? So you got a little 2D guy. There's a dude that lives on this sheet of paper, okay? Now, where in his reality can a ball bounce? Only along the X and Y axes, okay? But there's another reality outside of his that he can't see. And so a ball can actually move along this axis as well. But whenever that ball bounces over here, it appears out of thin air in his reality and disappears, and then reappears back in his reality and disappears. And he's like, oh my gosh, y'all, Skinwalker Ranch, spirit orbs, it violates the laws of Newtonian physics. No. We know for a fact that there are more than 3 spatial dimensions, but we can only observe 3. So the very suggestion that quantum physics is even real is kind of absurd. It's honestly offensive. So, yeah, guys, I mean, we discovered the Higgs field. We know about the, I mean, guys, it's just, I don't understand how people don't get what I'm saying yet. And I'm sorry for being really arrogant, but let's try and power through this, right? Honestly, I think I said it all right there. And if you didn't get it, you didn't get it. But when Jesus goes through the transfiguration and becomes a light being, he is now moving in those areas. Okay, so I want you to consider that this earth is a training ground for us to become like that, because Jesus told us that we will all receive the same baptism as him. I'm gonna now assume that in addition to being smart and understanding what I talked about, I'm gonna assume that you're familiar with the Bible and what it says. Okay, so you know that we are going to become some sort of heavenly creature with a glorified body, right? We're going to be able to walk through walls, and that doesn't violate the laws of Newtonian physics in any way. And we understand that now. It no longer even looks like magic. Okay, we've got quantum computers proving this. I don't understand how people still think that it's like magic, right? It's been technology all along. Look, if I keep going, then this is going to be a 3-hour video as I really dive into the philosophy of what it's like to be stuck on this piece of paper here. But I just don't have the energy for it. So I want everyone to understand. But I don't think you will. I can't shut this down, though. I told you guys we would talk about some things, so I guess I'll force it. What is an octave? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Did you notice something there? The do is repeated. It's not actually an octave. It's 7. So wait a minute. 7 spirits, 7 candles, 7? Really? Really? And okay, 7 colors, 7 chakras, yada, yada. 7? Are you serious? Look, really plainly, I'm going to assume that you are familiar with Dolores Cannon, the raw material and everything. Supposedly, we live in 4th density. We live in 4th density, and the creatures here are going to, a lot of them are going to choose to stay here because they can't understand what we're talking about here, which is the very serious reality of the spirit realm and the world above this that exists outside of 3+1 dimensional Euclidean reality. Now, I want you to understand what that's going to look like, but I don't know if you'll get it. Just like we can travel through time by waiting, okay? Time does not exist. The only thing that exists is space, okay? And so time is an illusion. And something about the reality that we're going to transcend into, there's another type of time. Probably the way that it works in 5th density is you're able to go backwards in time in addition to forwards, right? I just want you to imagine that for hundreds of years, we had cars that couldn't reverse and we thought it was an impossible technology, and now we take it for granted. People will argue, Aaron, that's impossible. Entropy, the arrow. No, dude, entropy. There are tons of things in this universe that work against entropy. The idea that entropy and the arrow of time can't be worked against is completely false. What is DNA? DNA is taking an absolute mess of subatomic stuff and crystallizing it into an algorithmic instruction for how to print out flesh. That is definitely order that works against chaos. You've been deceived. You're deceiving yourself. I don't really get it. But the point of life is to be a steward of creation and purify yourself and work towards that crystallization of data and let chaos be chaos, man. We're going to leave this behind. We're going to go to fifth density. Get with the program. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, what this really boils down to is Jesus. And that blows my mind. I've been studying this stuff for years, but I could have never predicted that this was going to be the key. Okay? But I promise you, this book blows the raw material out of the freaking water, dude. It's an entire anthropomorphized science instruction manual. I mean, when Ezekiel talks about the wheel within a wheel, is it possible that that's a euphemism for nuclear physics? Because it's spoken about within the context of the creation of the nation of Israel in the future, because the Israelites were a nomadic people that had never really had a home. But they do have a promised land. And for them to receive that promised land, this dude was going to go and reach into the bottom of a wheel within a wheel and grab the coals out of the bottom and throw them on the earth, causing destruction. And then the nation of Israel gets created. Doesn't that sound like a nuclear bomb going off? Doesn't that sound? Is it possible that that's an ancient prediction of nuclear warfare and it's actually a prophecy that came true? Okay. Is it possible that I'm batshit insane and have no idea what I'm talking about? Sure. Is it possible that what I just said is the truth? Absolutely. I can't really tell you. I'm hot. I'm sleepy. I don't want to do this. I hope you figured it out. I hope you got something from this. I hope you understand that wisdom doesn't come from being intelligent. Okay? Wisdom comes, you're going to acquire wisdom easier if you're intelligent, sure. But let's talk about retroductive logic versus deductive logic versus inductive logic. What color is the sky right now, guys? Okay, it's 10:15 p.m. The sky is black. Wrong, Aaron, wrong. You brainwashed yourself. That's a lie. You've been deceived. You deceived yourself. The sky is not black. So I just incorrectly deduced the color of the sky. The truth is, I cannot induce the color of the sky right now. If I try to inductively figure out what the color of the sky is, that means I look at it, I see it, it's black, I'm wrong. I just lied to myself. I'm an idiot. So I can only induce the color of the sky if the truth is being thrown in front of my face. Otherwise, if I'm being lied to and the color of the sky has changed, I have to use deductive logic, right? So, let's see. It's nighttime. There's no light out. I'm going to have a hypothesis that the sky is still blue. And I'm going to wait and see if it returns to blue whenever the sun comes up. Oh my gosh, look, guys, the sky turned blue again. I'm going to deduce that the sky is always blue, and we just can't see that when it's nightfall. Okay, cool. Right. Let's use a better analogy. If you're trying to find a needle in a haystack, the only way that you can induce where that needle is if you literally saw where it landed. Okay. Now, good luck. Okay. The best trying to induce where the needle is means digging around, trying to find the needle in a haystack. So you would define a genius as someone who can use deductive logic and is able to, let's see, the needle weighs half a gram and the average person has a throw distance of 6.2 meters. And so if we have someone throw the needle 25 times and take an average radius of where the needle might land and go and look within that area, we're very likely to find the blah, 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 deductive logic. Sure, that's Sherlock Holmes. That's a genius, right? No, it's not. That's a wise fool that thinks that he can know everything and won't ever let anybody tell him what the truth actually is. The Bible tells us that only those like unto children shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. Only those like unto children will find the needle in the haystack. Okay, because to be like unto a child means to use retroductive reasoning. That means to let your eyes be opened. Okay, so a dumb farmer walks up with hay hanging out of his mouth and missing half of his teeth and says, hey, y'all, I know how to find that needle easy. Let's just catch it on fire. And now these brilliant Sherlock Holmes scientists are completely dumbfounded and realize that they're actually not that bright. So you can sit here and tell me all you want about the standard model of physics and the period. Listen, I have spent more time in it than you. I don't care who you are. This book is telling you the truth. Listen to the farmer trying to burn down the hay. His name is Jesus Christ of Nazareth, dude. You can deduce these simple facts if you just try and understand the truth about physics. But unfortunately, people aren't smart enough. They don't care enough. I don't really understand. For me, this is really easy, and I'm sorry that I'm arrogant and I have this tone. I'm talking to everybody like they're stupid. Yeah. I love you guys. Supernatural doesn't mean not real. It means the next layer of natural, bro. I mean, epigenetics, what is that? What is a crystal? How can my singing make a wine glass break? How does a radio work? Have you seen the videos on the internet of people going up to a radio tower and starting an arc, and the ripping of those air molecules by that electricity actually works like a speaker? Are you familiar with the fact that we do not know how cochlear implants work, nor do we quite understand how we use radio signals to transmit data like sound and visuals? We don't really understand how a TV works. We just create an LCD screen and plug it up to the signal, and lo and behold, it resonates and we get the data back out. We use technology that we do not understand. Okay, now you can argue with this all you want, but very seriously, I don't know who paid attention, but a couple of weeks ago, they finally proved that biophotons are real. Okay, we think that photosynthesis has never been explained. We have no explanation for how photosynthesis works. The only explanation is quantum physics, and we haven't quite yet proven that. The sister explanation for that is this concept of the biophoton, which is that your DNA in your body somehow create its own light within itself. Now, that's some pretty biblical stuff right there, isn't it? We just found out that's actually what happens, okay? People came over here into the Americas with scurvy from these ships, and the witch doctor said, here, drink some pine needles. They drank it. Their scurvy was gone. They went back to Europe and said, hey, we found a cure for scurvy. It took 249 years for people to finally recognize that was the truth. And you know what? They never listened. They never got smart. What happened was a couple guys finally isolated / synthesized vitamin C, named it ascorbic acid. There you go. People won't accept the truth until somebody proves it. You're going to be one of those people? I'm telling you that in light of recent events and the things that you're being told are coming, you would have been a Nazi. You would have been one of the people that scolded Nikola Tesla and wanted him to be put out of this country. You. Goodbye.